finish, and then they go in. Done?
Yep.
All right, just an ad to get us started for tonight.
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them, but the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
Sort of cool, isn't it? That's an Apple ad, eh? Do you remember it? No?
No.
It's great. Tonight is an all about you story. We're talking about personal branding, and for most of you, personal branding is as foreign as I don't know, a foreign language, but it's something that we need to start with. When I'm thinking about developing this course, in fact, this was I think session 5 in last year, but I think it's basically session 3 now. I've actually brought this forward because this is where it all starts. You know, you're all here because you want to start a business. Well, it actually starts with your personal brand, and hopefully by tonight I'll be able to explain why that's important, what personal branding is, why it's important to do it, and then how you can participate and start setting up your personal online brand. So, if this was plugged in, it would work really well. So I've changed that. We're going to do tonight, we're going to do personal brand, and then I've asked Phil to take you through how you go about setting up your personal brand and network. So that's a lot of what we talked about earlier, the Facebook, the box, all of this sort of stuff. So don't worry, we're both here to help you get set up. So if you're not feeling very comfortable with the computer space, that's okay. We're here to, that's what this program's all about, is all about teaching you those skills. So don't get too scared if you don't know any of this stuff yet. By the end of the course or by the end of tonight, we'll have you certainly working on that. So we've just changed that around a bit, and they're the two things we're going to be covering tonight. So the business is the person, and I know that sounds a bit strange, but when I explain it like this, and I say Virgin, what do you associate with Virgin? This guy? Yeah. What do you associate with Apple? Steve Jobs. What do you associate with Microsoft? You know, Bill Gates. Anita Roddick, Body Shop, and Oprah, of course, Oprah in her business. These people, the business is the person, are almost interchangeable. They are almost inseparable. The brand, the business, and the person that's behind it. Because these days, and very much these days, particularly with the internet and our ability to promote ourselves or promote our personal brand, the product and us make up the business. It's no longer just, oh look, I'm in the background and what's most important is the product. I just push the product and I'm a nothing in this thing. It's all about the product. No, not true. Not true. More and more, and particularly in the internet age or in the digital age, we are coming in that the brand is as much about the person behind the brand as it is the brand itself. It's as much about the product as it is the person that's making that product and making it happen. So it's you, it's the product plus you is what's going to make this business. So tonight I want to spend some time on the you part of this. And anyone that started a business, and I know a couple of you have in this room, you'll know that really you're it. When we're talking about the business, it really is you. It's all of that. It was your idea to start the business. Is that right? It's your mantra. Mantra meaning it's your meaning to life that you're bringing to this business. There's an awful lot of your beliefs about life that are being implemented in this business. It's not just a nebulous thing. It's not just a thing that exists without heart and soul. This thing has heart and soul because it has your mantra. It has your reason for being. It's got your courage wrapped all over it, isn't it? Everyone said, you're crazy, why don't you go and work for someone, you know? And you said, no, I think this is what I want to do. It's got your drive. Without your drive, it doesn't happen. Without your passion, it doesn't get defined. And without your values, the business doesn't actually take on the particular view that it has or the particular value proposition that it offers to the market. It's you that is central to making your idea work. And so that's why I'm saying I don't care what business you're going to go into, and I'm talking to people that have got a range of ideas from, I don't know, most of you want to do coffee shops for crazy ideas, because I've had 15 of them and I've had enough of them. But whatever it is, the you part of it is essential ingredient of every one of those business ideas. I just put this in just to make sure you're awake. But that's a pretty cool thing, isn't it? We've gone this evolutionary stage from, you know, that's where we've gone, and we've sort of basically come back to it. And my physio says all the time that he gets nothing but this problem of we're hunched over around machines, and we're actually deforming a lot of our stuff. So if you're having headaches, it's probably because your shoulders are forward in the in operating the machine. So anyway, that was just to see if you're awake. But your business needs you. It's not just about, oh, it's my idea and I build it over here and I'm not really attached to it. I'm there for the money, but it's not got anything to do with me really. It doesn't really need my heart and soul. Well, that's not true. Because how many times have you checked out someone's online profile before you sort of engage with them? Maybe you haven't done a lot, but you maybe, those of you that understand Facebook, you've gone and checked out someone's Facebook profile, or even LinkedIn profile. Those of you that are in a professional network will go in and check out someone's LinkedIn profile before you engage with them. This is becoming more and more and more. Every day we wait, your internet or your online profile is becoming an essential part of doing business. To the point now that the whole employment process is being disrupted, where they no longer put out ads anymore. They go searching for the right candidate, and they don't care if you're employed already. They're just going to come and headhunt you. And the way they do that is through LinkedIn. LinkedIn give people that pay the premium account the right to ask specific questions. I'm looking for people like this, with this sort of education, with this sort of experience, and they just type it all in, and up comes the list. And then they just go and approach those people. And they don't care if you're in a job or not, they just say, would you like to come and work for us? Because you're a perfect match for what we're looking for. So the whole idea of being found and being offered employment even is being disrupted. But if you haven't got a LinkedIn profile and it's not fully developed and it hasn't got 500 plus followers and it hasn't got hundreds of endorsements from people that follow you, then basically you're not in the game, particularly in the digital space. And they're talking about, you know, we're only 3 to 5 years away from most of our employment being virtual now. Companies all over, some of you have probably been subject to it, where we're going off the concept of employment to contracts, aren't we? We're all going to project-based. You're getting employed here, you work for 3 months, and then that's the end of the contract, that's the end of your work. That sort of style is becoming more and more, and it's only going to accelerate. So the future of work, for most of us, they say about 50% of us, will be employed as freelancers. In other words, companies will just engage us as they need us. No one will be on a time-based salary anymore, except for the big guys. Most of us will be engaged with organisations on a project-based work. So we need to be building our personal brand to get found. That's only for employment. For starting your own business is absolutely essential that you have a personal brand. It's absolutely the key to any success that you're going to get into in the internet age. And you can say, well, Pete, I'm not really into the internet. I'm going to be selling physical goods. I don't need to worry about that. That's not true. So much of what we do is determined by our online profile, our online marketing. We need to be in this space and we need to be in it really effectively. So I think that's where we should start. But one, because, remember I said to you, things that we can do that are low cost. This is a low cost thing. This costs you time to build your online profile, but it's not going to cost you a lot of out-of-pocket money. And you're going to be spending this money or this time building something that's going to work for you, whether it's an employed contractor future or whether it's a start your own business future, or if it's a blend of the two. So that's why I would like to start there tonight and start working on that online reputation. Because think about making online sales. Say you're wanting to sell one of your services. You know, if if people don't know you from a bar of soap, how can they trust? How can they engage with you? If you've got no other aspect out there apart from here's this guy with this product or this service wanting to sell it, and there's nothing else on the internet that allows the person to make a judgment about you. How are they going to make online sales? So you can just scrap online sales if you don't have an online profile. Crowdfunding has become a brand new way of raising money now. We don't have to go to the banks anymore. In fact, we shouldn't be. We shouldn't be going to the banks for our money. If you can tell a good story, if you can put together a great concept, something that's got some sort of community benefit, or something that's going to be of a creative nature, you can get funding now through things like Kickstarter. Kickstarter have only just come to Australia. November last year they came to Australia. Pozible, P-O-Z-Z-I-B-L-E, is also a crowdfunding program. They accept your idea, and you promote your idea, you tell your story, and basically a lot of people give about $25. If you get enough people giving $25, you raise your 10 grand to start your business. And you offer those people obviously something in return. They get some sort of, recognised on the website, or they get some sort of signed copy of whatever it is that you've created, or they get your ebook for free, or, there's lots of different ways you can reward them. But we don't need to be funding anymore that way. But I tell you what, they're not going to give you $25 if they don't know you, if they can't go onto the internet and find a good profile about you. Viral marketing, how are they going to, viral marketing, getting network support, attracting followers, all these things are essential. You need to have an online profile if you're going to get any of these things. And when I talk about these things, these are essential start your own business skills. These are essential start your own business resources that you need to have. And you're not going to get it if you don't have an online profile. So you need an online reputation, because how would you prove your skill purely based on your content, or your online content and engagement? I can. I can actually say to you, go and look at a Forbes article. There's 4 Forbes articles that have been published. So, there's a certain amount of, oh, you're being published in Forbes. And I get a lot of business out of that, because people read that. Then they look me up on LinkedIn. Next thing, I've got a message on LinkedIn that says, I want to talk to you. I want to start a cafe. How can I do it? Some have involved meeting, flying to meet clients somewhere, or just discussions over the internet. I haven't pulled that into a full monetization, so I haven't encouraged it. But you can see how that online reputation leads to work, and that's what I'm saying to us tonight. So the future of work is that's the prediction, and you can look up future of work if you want to do. Watch the latest YouTube on it, and there's a guy there that's what his claim is. But it's not just a guy that I saw this week, but that's been something that I've been reading a lot about, and I'm seeing it. I'm seeing whole departments being outsourced to contractors. Most of them, sadly, overseas, not necessarily to Australians, and that's the worry for our workforce. Businesses are increasing their engagement of online process contractors, and fee-for-service platforms are growing everywhere. We have the one that Phil and myself use is Freelancer, and Freelancer is an Australian platform that brings people with projects like we have projects all the time in our business, and people that will do those projects for us for a fraction of the cost of what you get done locally. And I know everyone says, yeah, but what about the quality? Well, I can tell you now, the quality that we get is as good as what we get locally, and the price is a tenth, is it?
Yep. Is that like with your logos and things like that?
Logo number one. You get logos done for $50. If you're paying more than $50, you shouldn't be doing it. So, and you run a competition, and we get, how many do we get to a competition? Probably 100. We get 100 logos submitted, and we say, oh, that's a nice one, and we pay that guy. Freelancer. Freelancer is something we're going to do during the course. We're going to have a go at putting a project up, and we'll see. We'll just show you how it all works. But Freelancer is two-edged sword. One is it's a place for work, not a great place for work because you're competing globally. And there's people on the planet that actually will do what you want to charge $200 for, will do it for 20. So that's a bit of a bad, but it doesn't work. There's some jobs, I think, voiceovers and things like that, you actually do go with a local person for that. There's some things that you actually will play a local person over another person, but it's a great source for that. But most importantly, for someone starting their own business, it's all that staff. You've got all this staff waiting to do work for you, and it's whatever you can think of. I think when we get to that, I'll show you how many different jobs that you can outsource to Freelancer. And it's just amazing. I will never, personally, sorry about this, guys, I will hopefully never employ someone ever again. You know, and I just don't want them. I've had the business with the 10 stores and the 50 staff. I've had that, and they just come with 3 bags full. I know you're all wonderful people, but as staff, you're just full of problems. You know, I end up living your life as well as mine, and I spend my day basically trying to make sure you get paid. And I spent my whole time. I had 10 stores in Sydney. Cafes in Sydney, and I spent my week worrying about 2 things: paying the rent and paying my staff. I didn't even think about time off for me or making money for me or anything like that, because you've got all these hungry faces that all just come to work every day with their hands out like this, you know. And not only do they want to be paid, they want to be cuddled, and they want to be not cuddled, but they want to have their emotional support. They want you to say nice things about them. You know, I'm a wreck, and I'm working, you know, these 80 hours a week just so that other people can be happy. And I made a decision when I came to Brisbane, and that's why I got into education. I said, the next business I have, I want to be able to lift it with my own hands. So that's why I took up powerlifting, because then I could lift a lot. But because staffing, as you will find if you're in any sort, do you employ staff? Yeah. Anyone that employs staff will know, even the best staff, they are a drain, they are hard work. Whereas these people, you employ them on a project. I want this project by this time for these dollars, and it gets delivered, you know. So Freelancer is opening up massively for us, and if we're going to offer our services through the Freelancer model, well, we need to have a reputation. I get Phil to do that for me, but he goes and checks out the guy's reputation. We don't engage with anyone just because they're the cheap price. He has a way of going behind the scenes and finding out their full story, gets all their background data. We find out that they're someone that we can trust, and then we engage them. So again, if you haven't got that working for you, you're not going to get engaged, not in the digital age. And so the selection for everything is going to be based on your online reputation. So we need to build an online reputation, guys. You know, that's the lesson for tonight. So your personal brand. Your personal brand does this. It builds, believe it, scalable intimacy. Now, I don't know whether I told you last time, but while we're talking to 20 people here tonight, influencing, hopefully for the good, 20 people, I don't know, the reads of my articles range from about probably 5,000 on a really slow day to 10,000 on a busy day. Today, I could well have influenced 10,000 people globally for Start Your Own Business, Coffee, Australia, whatever it is that I write about, because that's how many reads I get. Now, those people are actually getting to know me. This is the bizarre thing. It's a bit like the guy that reads the news to you every night. You've seen him. He's been in your lounge room all the time. You see him in the street and you want to yell out. Ha! And then you go, that's right. I know him, but he actually doesn't know me, you know. And you can build scalable intimacy. People that can actually feel that they know you, because you write comments at the back. When people write a comment, you reply to it, and people are picking up your thoughts, your values, and you know what you stand for. You become an authority in your domains. This is critical. If architecture or whatever, graphics, what design are you into? Interior, architecture. If architecture is your design, I want to know, or is your domain, I want to know how you rank for that. Are you a thought leader in that? Because you should be, particularly online, and you can be. You can be a thought leader for maybe not architecture as a word, but maybe hotel architecture, or some sort of niche market that you could become a thought leader for it online. And I'll show you when we go to Cora how that I'm a thought leader. I'm the global thought leader, believe it, for education disruption and reform, accounting, small business advice. All of those things I rank #1 globally, based on my content, based on my upvotes, based on my comments. So you can rank. And so when I say to someone, you can trust me on this, they go and check me out and they go, hey, this guy is an authority. So we can become an authority. Your best business option, please, are in your domain. I know that you're sick and tired of architecture and you want to go and start a cafe. But your best business options truly are within your domain. And so maybe you need to reconsider and think about and think about, now this is business options. I'm not saying you don't go and do a completely different field like I did. I went from cafes to education. I'm not saying you can't do that, but there has to be a reason behind it, and there was a major reason behind mine. But if someone comes to me as a newbie, they've never been in business before, and they actually want to go into something that's right outside their domain, really scary, absolutely guaranteed to fail, absolutely. No question about it. I'll put money on you failing. If you've never been in business and the business you're going into, you've had no experience with it. Guaranteed failure, absolute. You know, I can write you the check now because well, you can write me the check now because I'm going to win that bet. So we need to find out what is the domain that we're good at. And some of you don't realise what domain that you're actually really strong in. And that's what when you start to engage online, you start to find that out. And we need to start now, guys. We can't put this off. We can't say, yeah, good question, or good answer, Pete, or good story, Pete. I'll do that next year when I get serious about a business. No. Tonight, we need to start building your online reputation, your personal brand. We need to start it tonight because this thing takes 3 to 5 years to fully develop. You know, now it's scalable. Now, what I say scalable, viral. Now my stuff is viral. You know, I used to get, it took me a year to get 61 people to follow me on Quora. Now I get, over a weekend, I might get 300 more people follow me over a weekend. I get, 100, 150 a day people follow me on Quora now. Now, understand what that is. These are people that are choosing to follow me. Yeah, now wait. So when I come to sell them something, they chose to follow me, not me spam them. I'm not knocking on their door cold selling. They chose to follow me, so when I send them out something and say, here's something to buy, it's their fault for following me. But you see, they're already a warm lead. And I didn't do anything to create that warm lead apart from build my personal brand. Those followers become my market. And the bigger that market grows, the more chance I've got of building a business out of it. So, starting now, this is what a personal brand consists of. You guys have got certain knowledge. You know stuff. You guys have got certain experiences. You've been through certain experiences. That adds to your personal brand. You've got certain passions. Hopefully you are. The fact that you're here tonight means that you've obviously got some passion to do something. You want to get up and make a difference. Then you've got certain passions. You also have values, strengths, ideals. All of those things go to make up what a personal brand is. All I'm saying is let's take that personal brand, instead of sharing it with 150 people, most of us have networks, physical networks of about 150 people. Instead of just sharing it with 150 people, why not share it with 2 billion people that are currently connected to the internet? Because you can. And maybe from those 2 billion people, we will carve out enough people to give us an income, even if it's a cafe, or even if it's a restaurant, or even if it's hopefully some sort of online business. So that's all I'm appealing to you. Let's package up what it is we have with those 150 people, and let's package that up so that we can scale that with the 2 billion people that are online. And for you guys that are in architecture or whatever, there's a lot of digital products that can be sold to these people. It doesn't have to be for a lot of money, but you can package things up and sell them to these people. Education, obviously, is so easy. You can see why I'm in education, because it is such a wonderful product to scale. So many people need it. Everyone on the planet needs it. They need it every day, which is learning. And I just want to be in that space. So if anyone wants to join me, you're welcome.
How long have you been building your personal profile now?
I would say 4 years that I've been at it. 4 to 5 years.
How many hours a day or week would you spend?
Lots. But you've got to remember, I've had to do the learning.
Yeah.
So when we tell you something tonight, that's because we've been down 10 dark alleys.
Yeah.
And we've actually found the right one. But that took Phil and me 3 months to figure that out.
Yeah.
And you're going to hear it in 3 minutes. And you're going to go, what's so hard about this? That's because we've actually done a lot of the pioneering work. That trip to Sydney is really easy now that someone's put a road. But you should have been there when it was just a machete and a couple of guys on horseback, So, okay, I've invested a lot of time, but a lot of that time is to create a knowledge base that allows me to then say to you, let me save you all the work, these are the platforms to be on. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's that. The other question is this. If you were selling any product, you would be and a typical number in starting up any business, about 10% of your money should be spent, or 10% of your budget should be spent marketing. Now, if you're not currently building a business and you're wanting to build an online profile, 10% of your time should be spent building that online profile. So if you wanted to know a number, and what's 10% of your waking day? For me, it's 20 hours. That's 2 hours a day, you know, 10%, 20 hours. If you got less than that, an hour. So an hour a day was not an unreasonable amount to invest in building this online profile that, will scale for you once you get there. Once you build it, I can't turn it off now. I cannot stop people following me now. I cannot stop people reading my stuff. It'll because they share it with their friends who share it with their friends, and you can see what's happening. Yeah. And so you can see that I'm building something that is just going to continue to grow. So market yourself like you would market a third party's product. You have to detach yourself from the emotion. Like people that or probably even people in this room, they say, boy, he goes on a bit. You know, I cop it upstairs all the time. You know, he keeps going on a bit about this, you know, what he's done and where he sits and all these followers and all that sort of stuff. But what you don't understand is in this head, I'm detached from the personal brand Peter Basketball. There's Peter, and that's why my online profile is photo definitely is different to my handsome, engaging self. Because I actually market Peter Basketball as a detached third-party product. And that's the first thing you have to get over in your head, particularly as Australians. Hey, as Australians, we're not big on promoting ourselves. That's the one thing we try and chop people down, tall poppy syndrome. But I'm not seeing me promoting me, the emotional Peter Basketball. I see if I get this brand happening, and if I get people following it, I can see how I can make money out of Peter Basketball. You see how that works? So I've actually detached myself from the brand Peter Basketball. And that's why I don't try and change that photo that's obviously outdated. But because that's what people think is my logo, so I'm just keeping that as the logo. So that's what we need to do, and that's what we're going to try and get to you tonight, is to detach yourself. So we build a personal brand. Why? Because this happens. You become an authority. I try and build a personal brand in the areas that I want to eventually monetize. So I want to become an authority, and I go into Quora all the time to check that I'm still the authority on those things, and if I'm not, I go and pump a whole lot more answers in. I need to get more upvotes to keep myself up there, because that's important to me to maintain the authority. I used it here. I got an approval for a project here, and I sent a link to the fact that I am the world leader in online disruption, education disruption and reform. I'm the global thought leader, and they all go, wow, so he must know what he's talking about, so they signed my project on. Now, if I didn't have that, could I really have leveraged TAFE to come and support my concept? Probably not. They just said, oh, well, he must know because, look, you know, he's the thought leader. What happens when you're the authority is you build trust. Without every person that you know that's the authority on something, what do? You trust them. Guess what happens with trust? That stuff. So you all want to make money. You've all come and said, Pete, tell us how to make money, yeah? Well, actually, there's a whole lot of prerequisites to making money. We have to, well, if you're going to make money, you need to have a trust. You need to have people trust you. How do you get people to trust you? You become an authority on something. How do I become an authority on something? I actually have to build a personal brand. Yeah? Whether you agree with me or not, that's just what you're going to be up for. Interestingly, this mob try to measure your personal brand's value. So you can all go in and get your clout score. You know, clout, we use it, I think, in Australia a lot. You know, he's got a lot of clout. They spell it a little bit differently, but there's a clout score. And my clout score at the moment is 46 or something like that. Anything over 40 and you start to get free upgrades on airlines. Why? Because you're going to go to your people and share that, and 10,000 people are going to hear this wonderful story about how you got upgraded on a Qantas airline. So there's organisations watching your clout score, and actually you're getting little perks for it. You know, upgrades in motels. I'll go and check you out before you come in and see what your clout score is and say, oh, we're going to look after this guy. He's got such a big audience, we need to look after him. But look, it's only just starting. Google search now is the most critical one. Google search is moving away from an algorithm that tries to get the statistics of an article, and they're now trying to get to a thing called authorship. They're now trying to say, who wrote this article? And if this person that wrote this article is a reputable thought leader, authority, we will put them on page 1 over the guy that's written an article that looks very good, but we don't know who his authorship is. Google are now promoting authorship. And authorship is personal brand. So I need you guys to start building your personal brand if you want to have your business found on found in search results, which is obviously going to lead to money. So they're starting to measure online value already. Personal brand for dummies. So it's out there in the bookstores. So what I'm talking about is not, even though for some of you it's new, it's not new to these guys. These guys have already written personal branding for dummies. So we need to identify our areas of expertise, and I've taken my boss through this upstairs, and he says, Peter, I don't think I've got any areas of expertise. I said, yeah, that's how you think at first, but once you start to engage in this, you soon discover what they are. Select industries that you want to eventually monetize. What is it that, where do you want to make money? Is it cafe or coffee? Is that where you want to make? So let's try and move into that space and try and become a thought leader in that space. Obviously, my areas are going to be in education, so I try and become a thought leader in that space. Select the appropriate online platforms, and this is where we can help you. We can tell you the platforms you should be on. From trial experience, I think we've probably been on 50, and probably more than that. I probably signed up for 100 internet platforms, and of those, there's probably 3 or 4 that we must get onto, and that's only from trial and error that we've discovered that. And we've got to start engaging by posting content and sharing discoveries. So, I think I'm nearly there, but this is a really important concept to understand, this sales funnel. And like I say, you've all come here tonight because you want to know how to make money out of a business, that thing there. And that, but a lot of you don't realise these prerequisites that go towards making money. And one of those, the start point in all of that is awareness. People need to know about you. They need to discover you. And most people are using online to discover people. Even people looking for physical, local products, they're actually using online to discover people. So you need to start building awareness as the number 1. If dollars is what you want to make, start with awareness. Start getting views. Start getting people reading your stuff. Start getting people seeing you, seeing and reading your content. Try and get a reaction. From the reaction, try and make connect with them. Start creating some engagement. After the engagement comes the money. So it's a bit like a relationship. People, like you think about all the people that you've parted with money, basically people that you've got a relationship with, your local coffee shop, your local supermarket. You've actually already established a relationship with it, either with the people behind the counter or with the brand. And you have a trust with that brand that allows you to part with that money. So we need to, as start your own business people, we need to create this relationship, and this is how we create it. In terms of online, we put online content up there. That builds awareness. We try and get people to like what we've put up. We try to get people to +1 it, which is the Google one. We try to get people to upvote, which is Quora. We try and get people to retweet, which is Twitter. You try and get them to retweet your tweets. You try and get people to put comments on what you write. You try and get people to follow you. That's that next level. All of that is done in the social media space. So we need to be in that social media, getting that happening. And remember, this is part of building that dollar. Part of building that dollar is done up here. It's not done down here, it's actually done up here. Once we've got that, we then take them through to our website, a website that we're going to build in the course, by the way. We're going to build a website. Once we've got the social media thing happening, we're going to get them to click through, and we're going to try and get their email. Once we've got their email, we've made a connection with them. We've got something of great value that we can use to spam them. No, not to spam them, to actually share content. Because the first thing we're going to spam them with is a free something. We're going to say, hey, you've given us your email address. Here's a free ebook that you can download. And the free thing that you're going to give them is something that doesn't cost you, it's going to be a digital product of some sort, something that doesn't cost you postage and all that sort of stuff. So you're going to say, because you've signed up, here's a free access to something. After the free trial, it's not hard for those that try the free trial to then say, you know what, I really love the free trial, I actually want more. We say, well, the want more is actually at a premium here's the sale. So that is what we have to build. So when you say we want to start a business, it's not done here. It's done by all of that. Now, I don't care if you're starting a local coffee shop. You should be building that around your local coffee shop as well. So that's what tonight's all about, and it all starts with that personal brand. There's the social media landscape in 2013. It's full of platforms. And I've probably been on most of those. And some of them, and you need to know where they're strong and what sort of content that they're strong in. So to establish your reputation as a leader in the market space that you plan to monetize, that's your ultimate goal. I want to become an authority in the area that I want to monetize down the track. So it's not about, oh, this isn't making me any money. Remember, I am making money because I'm building the awareness. And the awareness creates eventually the monetization. And if I set it up smart, a lot of my monetization will happen in a passive way. Passive. That means I can be making money while I sleep. That's an option that's available in the online world that's not available in the physical world, where we actually have to get up and do something. So that's what's awaiting us. This is my platforms where I build awareness. Content articles, I do WordPress. That's another blogging platform. Hopefully by the end of this course we'll have enough time to get you onto WordPress. WordPress is the area that all the professionals use to build online websites. We're not going to start there, we're going to start with something a lot easier. But if we get a chance, I'd like to get to WordPress. Forums, I use Quora. By far the best place for establishing an online reputation is Quora. In terms of curating, curating is like a museum, where the museum doesn't produce anything, it just goes and finds artifacts and puts them on show. We need to do the same. If you're into coffee or whatever, you go out on the internet and every time you find something you think is of value, you bring it in and you curate it. You say to people, you don't need to follow the internet for this topic, just follow my blog or my curated article, because in there I get all the best of the internet. And I can show you what we've done on this. In terms of CV, you've got to have LinkedIn. In terms of putting out your history, getting people to endorse you, getting people to connect with you, LinkedIn is by far the best. Twitter, you want to announce something to the planet, Twitter is by far the best. In terms of getting interaction, engagement, Facebook is still the best. And Phil will talk tonight about how you've got to actually set up 2 profiles on Facebook. One is the one that you want to engage with your immediate friends and family, and the other one, which is your professional Facebook, where you engage with everyone. Because you don't put anything on that platform apart from selling. You're just pumping. If those people want to like you and follow you, that's their fault, because they are going to get nothing but just pump stuff. On your private Peter Basketball, my private Peter Basketball, I won't tell you what name I use there, but you'll find me. I just engage with my family, and on there I can write whatever I like, because that's only my immediate family that I engage with. So we need to be thinking about 2 Facebooks, and the one that you'll engage with in this course will be the public Peter Basketball, not the private one, obviously. So that's what I do. Now, the 2 things that build all of this online, this personal brand, are these 2 animals here: a Gmail account and Google+. You need to work this area, because both of those 2 programs inform Google, the search engine. Google, the search engine, determines where you rank when people are looking for you or your products. Where you rank determines whether you're going to be successful in business or not. Someone said, what's the definition of death? And they said, second page of Google. Because no one goes to the second page of Google. If you're not in those top 10 entries, you may as well be dead. These 2 platforms are absolutely essential. So you might all be tonight working on a different email. Because Gmail is owned by Google. Google Plus is owned by Google. The search engine is owned by Google. The best search engine is owned by Google. By building around the Google products, Google gets to know you, gets to trust you, gets to promote you. Yeah. And I started with Hotmail too, but I actually had to go to Gmail. We all have to eventually go. We have to go there. While Google runs the planet in the online space, and they do, we need to actually align with them. Yeah? I won't. I'm just using what's there at the moment. I'm not making any. Some people say, oh, don't give Google that much power. Well, unfortunately, they are the power, so we've just got to go. Picking the right platforms, as you said. I've done this. I've been down dead ends. I've actually been onto platforms where I had 100,000 views a week and they actually closed it on me. So I built all that online reputation for nothing. It was a Google product, by the way. I've been on platforms where it fails to connect effectively. It looked exciting, I got on, but didn't connect with my audience the way that I wanted to connect with it. I've been on platforms that got bypassed. They're bypassed by a better product. And I've actually had to upload my stuff and take it over and put it on the new platform. So, yep, I've spent a lot of hours building this thing, but hopefully whatever I've learned I can pass on to you in a fraction of the time that it's taken me. So the keys to online, and I'll finish with this, stay flexible. We have to stay flexible in terms of the choice of content platform. And we have to do what Phil talks about is disposable learning. We have to learn something and realize that maybe someday we're going to have to put that aside and relearn something because something better has come along. We can't just keep hanging on to what we thought was good. We also have to be consistent. We have to be consistent in our branding, and the branding we have to be consistent about is your personal brand. Remember, your personal brand is a detached thing. Don't go thinking it as like an Australian that I'm big noting myself. No, treat it as a third party. Treat it like you're promoting a product that you hope to make money out of one day. And that product just happens to be a photo of you and a name that sounds like you. But it's not you. My online profile is not really me. It's very hard to pick up that from, there's a lot of my values come across, but I understand that they're two different things. The Peter Basketball in person and the Peter Basketball online are two different things. This is a marketing product. The Peter Basketball online is something that I'm trying to monetize. The Peter Basketball in person, well, I tend to be more generous than I should be. So we need, guys, we need to come up with a username. We need to come up with a same email that we use across the internet. And unfortunately, that has to be Gmail, because Google can follow your Gmail activity. What they do is that they're watching for spamming, yeah? And they watch your activity under Gmail. They can't look at the Hotmail one, but they can watch the Gmail and they can say, you are an honest citizen. Even on YouTube, I think they have it now. They actually give you a ranking about your citizenship. And I got this, oh, you're a decent guy, you know? I don't know what they call it, but I'm a trustworthy player because I haven't done anything wrong, uploaded other people's content on my YouTube. So Google is picking that up all the time. And so when they go to find the Peter Basketball, they say, we trust this guy. He's on Google, he's on Gmail, he's on YouTube, he's on Google+, and he's never done the wrong thing. His stuff gets voted up and followed a lot. Let's put his stuff up the top because it's the greater value. Yeah. So I get the business where someone else is just playing all these spammy games, doesn't get seen, doesn't get found. So activity 2, because we've done activity 1, we're going to go and open the refreshments room in a minute, is we're going to set up your personal brand and network. So those of you that are already on the computer, good. We're going to go and have a break. When you come back, those of you that aren't on, I'm going to put you on under my... Oh, did this work, Phil? Oh, we can actually give them temporary log on. Okay, fantastic. Phil's master, he's the scientist of the group. Anything to do with